The Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Real Doctor Who fans with real Doctor Who opinions.
Hello and welcome, dear listener, to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast, your one-stop destination for all things Doctor Who. Today, we have the dynamic trio of hosts ready to delve into the latest news, engaging discussions from discussion boards, as well as intriguing speculations about our beloved Time Lord and the vast universe that they inhabit. Joining us is the insightful Liam, the speculative Legion, and myself, the knowledgeable Brett. Together, we are going to discuss the most recent news or lack of news coming from Big Finish Productions regarding their releases, which are about to come out almost any time now, as of the day of the recording, as well as discussions from the discussion board surrounding Big Finish and Doctor Who. Stay tuned for episode 292, where we're going to review the July 2023 releases from Big Finish. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast.
Hello, friend.
Hello, friend.
Well,
Did you see the article I posted about that little podcast snippet with Lizzie Hopley being interviewed?
no.
I saw that. That was really interesting.
Mm.
I'll happily discuss that with you. I think you'd enjoy it as well, Brett.
Okay. You guys can talk about it. I don't have to be in the know. I can listen. All right. So with that, let's get to, there's no news. Actually, I take that back. One of the biggest news is that Big Finish has no news regarding their releases for Torchwood, which is the month of, as we are recording this on August 9th, the Torchwood release 74, still, as of the time of this recording, no information. Obviously, that means the next month, September, no information. Also, no information on Gallifrey War Room 2. And I think, if memory serves me right, they've already moved Gallifrey War Room 2 from a previous month to where it was in September. And before we talk about this, I do have to commend Liam, because I did do the haha emoji, because he posted regarding this news or lack of news, Big Finish killing it with the marketing strategy. Well done, guys. And when I heard that, I imagined a slow clap. So, I mean, it's very interesting that we are possibly 10 days out. And did you say, Liam, there's no trailer also?
Nope, nothing at all.
Here's the thing that kind of bothers me about this. Okay, you're on a Big Finish listeners group where they're talking about this. This is kind of interesting. There is somebody who claims that, there's probably so much to schedule. It's possible that Big Finish Towers is pretty much a hectic place at the moment. What are you talking about? This has been scheduled for a while now. Somebody just is asleep at the wheel. And then also, and this actually irked me more than this one, is somebody came in and says, there's a lot of things I'm concerned about, but this is not one of them. Okay, leave the Big Finish listeners group. It is talking about Big Finish. We're not talking about World War 17 or some biological warfare, but we're talking about a thing that you claim that you like. And again, it is, we will live another day, but it is a discussion board to discuss among fans. If you don't want to discuss things amongst fans, there's the door, please leave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That just irked me when I saw that.
I mean, he could have been talking about other issues with Big Finish, but I mean, if he was, we'll go into the issues.
Yeah.
I think he was just being a bit of a snarky douche.
I think so too.
Expand on the material if there are issues. If not, yeah. Otherwise, get out the kitchen.
Yep. All right, post-production update here. And generally I do this by myself, but no, I have grabbed the man, the myth, the legend, Liam, to join me on this update of this podcast. So
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Hey, All right. So in the podcast, we discuss the news and or the lack of news regarding the announcement of Torchwood 74. And
I don't know. It's just mad. I think this is the first time that they've ever done that, actually.
Yeah.
On a release.
Well,
I
and
think.
yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but
the only first time that they've ever done something was that main range release. That's the Lovecraft Invasion, and they pulled that and they gave a 1-sentence reference for "we're pulling this"
at the end of a news item.
Exactly. Like,
after reams and reams and reams of text that you could just, not have, you could have missed entirely.
And that, just to go back, so we're talking about the 74, Torchwood 74, which stars Murray Melvin as Billis Manger, and we have the release Signal, which, again, according to all of the information that is given to us...
Sigil.
Oh, sorry, Sigil. This is
Sigil, yeah.
the birthday of the actor Murray Melvin. So, very fitting for somebody who's no longer with us to have this released on their birthday. However...
I think it was his birthday last month.
Oh.
From what they were saying in the... Yeah, they were saying they celebrated his birthday in studio. And, I mean, they even say there on the news item, oh, if only we'd known that it was his last, it was gonna be his last recording session. Well, you've not even because I looked at the extras. I haven't listened to the story yet, but you've not even interviewed him on the extras.
Wow!
Like, come on, guys.
I was actually going to give it to him because on the Facebook page that I kind of messaged you earlier today regarding, they brought up the whole, today's his birthday. That's why they withheld it as a celebration to his birthday. And everybody was basically going on, oh, bravo, so brave, Big Finish, so brave. And so I'm like, oh, well,
was it his birthday?
I don't know.
Well,
that's what they said.
Well, it was either his birthday or either that, or they basically gave him an early birthday celebration in studio. But they definitely said on the news item, if you look at it on the page, it talks about that a little bit. So I don't know. So
yes, his birthday is today. It is the 10th of August, 1932.
Oh, okay.
So
you withhold all this information until that day. You could have prefaced this with, we're going to release, even in like the news item, you could have prefaced it with, we're going to release Torchwood 74, Sigil on, Murray Melvin's birthday, because he's recently passed. So it's going to be a celebration of his life, and it was his final recording. So quite fitting, so it was just a nice thing to do. But what do? You don't do anything to announce it, or that it was even a Murray Melvin release. And yet you say in the item, oh, he's a really revered actor, we loved him, blah, blah, blah. Well, really? Like, because doesn't look like it to me from this angle.
Well, and again, doing what you say that, and I am totally in agreement with you, doing what you say that they should have done, I think that would have honored his memory more, even again, not trying to market on somebody who's passed, but I believe that would have possibly gave them better marketing going into today rather than an announcement on Twitter or announcement on their page. I mean, FYI, that not only did they release it today with the trailer for today, but now they also gave a Murray Melvin, discount for today. Like, the discount should have been done, and I think they gave a discount around the time that he passed too, in memory of him. So I mean, at least that's one thing. But to withhold everything to play. Like, this isn't a game of poker. We're honoring people. Personally, do you think that would disparage his memory if they had announced this months ahead of time and then saying they're doing it on behalf of his birthday? I think you'd actually get more positive, sentiment towards what Big Finish is doing than no information. Boom. Oh, here's the release. Guess what? It was his birthday.
Yeah.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they market Among Us Part 2 his last appearance?
Yes.
Oh.
They did.
Oh.
I'm sure they did.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So just to go over some of the announcements. So the Big Finish audio group, not the Big Finish listeners group, the audio group announced this, and the first person to discuss it says, odd that they kept it until the day of the release, but I kind of understand why, to which it was responded to quickly by, it's clear the way that it is phrased that they wanted to mark what would have been his birthday, but no previews. And I think that's what a lot of people were saying. It's odd that they kept it until this, but I understand why. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't understand why. And then a lot of people were just discussing about how the cover art to his last one is amazing, which is good. But I mean, still, crickets for, again, and here's the other thing that, and we brought up previously, we still don't have an announcement for Torchwood 75. So, okay, they didn't do that for 74 up until this day. Still no announcement for that. Still no announcement for Gallifrey War Room 2. And I'm going to guess we're less than a month out from that release. So again, now do we have to just kind of sit and think, who has died recently? Is that the reason why that they're not announcing it? Like, this is now the expectation.
Either that, or they're just saving on marketing by doing no marketing at all. Which,
exactly,
I suppose you could argue is a really clever marketing scheme. But I mean, look, that strategy may have worked 22 years ago when they first started up, right? When there was only a couple of releases a month, or 4 releases a month or whatever, and they had far fewer ranges to worry about. Perhaps that strategy would have worked then because the internet wasn't so popular either, and it was just kind of taking off, and the website wasn't so, I suppose, packed full of things. So I can understand it. But now, when you specifically allow people to pre-order well in advance, pre-order up to a year plus in advance, 2 years, sometimes 3 for certain ranges. Looking at you, Tom Baker range. Again, I get it, understandable. But if you're going to allow us to pre-order so far in advance, at least give us some tidbits, guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. That's why I have yet to put in an order for anything for season.
It's like saying for George R.R. Martin, yeah, guys, you can buy Winds of Winter. I'm still writing it, but you can buy it and pre-order it. It's coming. Like, I genuinely, I can see that coming.
At this point in time, it's going to be, if that book is written by the time, if he's still alive and that book comes out, I'm going to go with 100% ghost written. Yeah,
of course. Ghost written in more than one way. Well, in more than one way, I suppose.
Exactly.
Probably at this point.
So let's get to the Big Finish listeners group, because this was posted and you were the first one to reply saying, wow, so you just released the story today with 0 trailer, artwork, or detail. That's a very unique marketing strategy. I love that. That was so funny. It says, and you go on and say, I mean, what is this trying to achieve? You obviously record this well in advance, so why this secrecy and silence over the release? They may as well not bothered releasing the trailer and and the like in the future if this is going to be the trend. To which you were responded to about an hour later saying this guy says, my thinking is they would have announced it sooner, but did not want to announce it too soon after the passing a few months ago, as that might have seemed distasteful. So now I'm going to let you finish what you responded to this gentleman with. So what did you respond to that with?
Something like that they didn't even interview me in the extras.
And then you also said what we've been kind of talking about. This could have been a celebration of his life, as well as no interview, no extras. This made me sad, which I really like how you put that.
Because whenever they interviewed him, he was a fascinating person to listen to, because he had a lot of good stories to tell, and he was a collector, and he did various things, I think, with books, like restoring books and that kind of thing. So it's just interesting to hear like what he was doing, and how he viewed the character. So yeah, really, really poor choices, I think.
It's one of those things where, and I really, again, have to go back to how you put it. You put it like, this could have been a celebration of his life. Like, again, and I tease this, but Torchwood 74, which one of the cast members died? I mean, that's now the only reason why there's no information about Torchwood 75. Which one of the cast members in, Time Lord War Room 2 died? Because that's the only reason why there's no information to this point. So, I
wonder how many other releases in September that they haven't got information for.
Just those two. And so I looked up. So out of September, those are the only two. October, we have all the information for the Third Doctor Adventures. No information on Torchwood 76. No cover art for the Once and Future. We at least have a synopsis, but we don't have the Doctor for Once and Future, Time Lord Immemorum. And then we don't have any cover art or information on the next Once and Future in October, the Union. So then we go down, we at least have Pastness Gang stuff. We have the Omega Factor information, but that's about it that is coming out for the month of October. So out of the month of October, we have 3 releases with nothing and 3 releases with something. So
that's only half of your output.
Mm-hmm.
So why? Like, what's going on? They must have synopses of the stories because they've clearly pre-recorded them. So why the slow drip feed of this is what you're getting for this month, or in October? It doesn't make any sense. I really don't get it. I don't understand how you can have some stuff with artwork and details, and then others just nothing. Like, why?
So going to November, we have a couple of releases. So all we have is the Seventh Doctor Adventures, the last day 1, that's all the information we have. We have the Eighth Doctor Adventures, which has all the information present. We have the 10th Doctor Chronicles, all the information to present. Torchwood 77. So, at least with Torchwood, they're consistent on not giving us any information. And then, of course, we have the audio novel with all the information. So I just clicked on the 8th Doctor. And again, it's not like they recorded this yesterday. Like, this 8th Doctor one that is coming out in November was recorded in late March and early April of 2023. So it's all ready to go. I'm pretty sure. What was it? There was, I think in the 2nd Doctor box set, they interviewed what's his face that does the soundscape and incidental music. And he says it basically takes him 3 days to a maximum of a week to do like the soundscape and sound effects and incidental music, sometimes up to 2 weeks, depending on, how much
Yeah.
involved it needs to be. So let's just say all of the stuff for all of August has been done. Let's just say, I don't know, at least maybe in January of 2023, it's all done. Minus maybe it's just taking a little bit longer to do all the sound effects and soundscape or whatever. Like, you can't put a summary. You can't have a trailer. Like,
Baffling.
Yeah. And just to kind of compare and contrast, Big Finish in 2009 from Vortex #1, they basically had, as I pull up Vortex #1, they had everything for March, everything for April. Again, March 2009 was when it was, released, I believe. Everything for May, everything for June, everything for July, everything for August, everything for September. Oh, nope, I take that back. September, we see the first TBA regarding the Stargate SG-1 releases. Then October is when we start getting, Doctor Who, the title TBA. However, we know it is the Fifth Doctor and Nyssa in main range release 127. We have the Eighth Doctor adventure with a title. We have Companion Chronicle 404, title TBA, but we know it's a Fourth Doctor story. Like, that is 2009. And they had about everything.
What I think this is down to?
What?
They say that, we're compressing and compounding ranges to make to make it easier. You've not. You've just expanded.
Oh yeah.
I swear there is more. I swear there's more stuff going on at Big Finish, more output from Big Finish now than there ever was in 2009.
Well, and also you could say the cover art in 2009 was really good. Like, the cover art for the past couple of years has been questionable at best and horrendous at almost standard practice. I mean, they have this weird oil painting effect. Yeah.
What's your top 5 worst artworks from Big Finish?
So I'm tired of the oil painting, the pastel thing. I thought it was original when they did it with Waterworlds. And then I thought, because, it was like almost watercoloring painting. So I was just like that. But then they just continue to do that constantly. There's been a couple of, I will say that there's been some imperfect ones in the main range releases. Doomsday, the Dying Hours, has got to be up there with how horrendous that sucker is. And let's see, I'm just going to go through what is new and just look at certain things. So Diary of a Song 12 looks fine. The Ninth Doctor, Travel and a Hope, looks fine. The Torchwood Signal, right? Sigil looks fine. I will tell you, the Once and Future, the Two's Company with Old Harry and Jackie Tyler kind of looks a little dodgy. And that's just this month. If I go back to last month, let's see, again, the novel adaptation has that whole, I don't know what, somebody discovered an app. Maybe it's AI, since AI is doing everything. And it just has like watercolor pastel type of a look to it. Not good. At least with like,
hey, maybe that's
maybe
that's a fair question to ask on the group. List your top 5 worst artwork and why.
Oh. Well, and here is how you can preface this, Liam, is I'm curious if
Or I'd say,
AI
yeah, I'm curious
art,
because, I've got no vision whatsoever. So I want to get people's opinions. I can't comment on any of this, but what are people's top 5 worst artwork from Big Finish and why?
okay, here's how I would actually word that. I would say
Hmm.
I've been noticing a trend on Big Finish that, or on this group, that the Big Finish cover arts has been less than lackluster. I know that, in fact, this is a true thing. There's about ready to release the first completely AI rendered movie to the movie theaters. And I will tell you, from what I've
Really?
heard from
Wow.
people who have watched it, it is dreadful. The AI does not understand emotion, does not understand lighting, does not understand this. So you could just say, I know AI artwork is a thing. Do you think AI artwork has infested Big Finish cover art? And if so, what are your least favorite Big Finish cover arts? I don't know. I think you'd have to probably like walk that. I mean, granted, I'm all for you starting kicking a viper's nest. I'm all for that. But I'm also all for you not getting kicked out of the group too, because of all the greatness that you do. So
Well, I mean, if you call it greatness, but
I
I'll
do.
take it. So yeah, I'll have to compose something and set up.
Next, something I wanted to talk to you guys about because I think this is quite interesting. You've made mention previously that Christopher Eccleston has more episodes in Big Finish than he does on screen, and so the Big Finish audio group posted a poll, and who am I to turn away a nice poll? It says, with the Ninth Doctor range going stronger, I'm curious to know what your favorite Eccleston volume is. So as I will relay them to you in order of release, I want you to tell me when I'm done what your favorite volume is, and we'll let you know the results of this poll. So obviously we have Ravengers as one, Respond to All Calls, followed by Lost Warriors, Old Friends, Back to Earth, Into the Stars, Hidden Depths, Shades of Fear, and Pioneers. So what is your favorite box set release of the Ninth Doctor? And maybe per se, what do you think is the fans of this Facebook page what do you think that their results would be?
That's a tricky one. I would either say Shades of Fear. I'm trying to remember what the 2 stories were in the Pioneers box set.
Pioneers was the
Green
one based
green.
in the North Pole, the Green Life, and the football one.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd say Shades of Fear.
Top one for me, Old Friends.
So number 1 out of all of these box sets, as ranked by the Big Finish audio group, is Old Friends. Number 2 is Respond to All Calls, followed by Back to Earth, Lost Warriors, number 4, and number 5, maybe with the support of my vote, because it was the only one that I've ever listened to beginning to end, I voted for Ravengers because it was the best one that I've actually heard from beginning to end.
That has no place at number 5.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
No,
Ravengers is awful.
You need to listen to more to make a more educated choice.
Yeah, you do, because Ravengers is terrible.
All right. Next, I have this. And so this is, again, we talked about it briefly off air. I checked to see if this person is in the Big Finish listeners group because I just cut this sound while I was waiting, because this is the group. So,
I like that.
Dear.
So this is from that group. This person is not in the Big Finish listeners group. So they posed this question with the cover arts of Torchwood Among Us 1, 2, and 3. And they said, so what is everybody's thoughts on Torchwood Among Us? Generally look interesting to me. And the first person pops in and says, it does look interesting. I'm yet to listen to it. Truth be told, I'm experiencing Big Finish burnout. The past 2 months, I have struggled diving into Big Finish. Instead, I'm going into the Virgin novelization books, though Among Us does interest me. Next person who actually posted the thing, the question says, can you please explain what caused Big Finish burnout? Very interested to know. They respond with, in all honesty, once in future feels like the embodiment of everything in the kitchen sink. It says, Big Finish is honestly trying to do too much at the moment, spreading themselves and quite honestly their work too thin. Most of the Dr. Adventure ranges don't seem to have many hooks either. Also, it's partly down to the fact I spend most of my time writing interviews on the audios, and I've done it for several years and blah, blah, blah. So he's going back to older stuff. And then, of course, talking about the whole, finding more interest in, I guess, the Wilderness Years Virgin and Missing Adventures than what Big Finish is doing. So I thought that was quite interesting because this person has no clue that this is something that Liam has brought up a couple of times on the Big Finish listeners group. And so it's not just a, singular issue. It is coming across more and more. And I also thought a couple of the things he brought up was quite interesting regarding the whole they're spreading themselves out too thin. What are your thoughts? Because again, we've talked about this, and there is a thing that I'm going to bring up regarding a Legion's post in a little bit. But what are you guys' thoughts about that?
Bring back the goddamn monthly range.
I do agree that they are spreading themselves too thin. Because I mean, it's like as the guy said, the Doctor box sets. There's no real good hooks at the minute, or very few good hooks. You have to just listen and hope for the best. Like the second Doctor box set, there was no returning villains or anything in it, and you just have to jump in and listen and see if the story is going to be good or not. I mean, okay, sure, Doctor Who shouldn't have to. Was there?
Yes. And this is why I love you, Liam.
Was there?
Yeah. I didn't even hear what you said.
What was the villain in? What was the villain in?
Liam said there's no returning aliens to hook people in. There were no, for example, the second Doctor box set, there was no returning classic villains.
Oh, well, I suppose the Green Man. Oh, I guess it was a Green Man.
Yeah,
but I mean, no. Read this. No, read the synopsis. Does it mention them in the synopsis? No, you had no idea it was coming. That's what I mean.
No.
Hence the hook. So you're wrong.
Technically, I'm not though.
Yeah, well,
technically you are.
Well, I'm going to side with Liam.
Technically, I will fight you over this.
I'm going to side with Liam only on this because you interrupt him in the midst of a rant. And so for that, I can't side with you, Legion.
I'm sorry. Liam, do you need help building up some steam again?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. Can you get back up?
No, but the as I was saying, before I was interrupted,
all right.
There is no. Oh, stop it! There is no actual, decent plot hooks at the minute, and you don't know. Like, okay, sure, they're not making the the quote unquote villain's obvious, which you can argue is a good thing or a bad thing, but there's pros and cons for both arguments. However, you just have to sort of lucky dip. Like the Fifth Doctor Adventures, we had no idea what the stories were going to be about, really, and it turns out they weren't that great. So, yeah, I mean, Doctor Who shouldn't have to rely on classic villains, but this is the second Doctor. It was known for the monster era. It was known for, well, the villains of Doctor Who. So why not be totally nostalgic and go all in? Be a bit more obvious with what you're bringing back. Like, that's one of the hooks for me for Troughton. I think that's one of Troughton's more memorable reasons for his era was the monster era. Okay, granted, viewers at the time got a bit sick of it, but I don't know about you guys, but for me, the Troughton era was memorable for that reason.
Oh yeah. The Troughton era was Base Under Siege, Monster of the Week.
Yeah. But I mean, we had we had the Crotons, we had the Quarks, we had the Daleks, Cybermen, Ice Warriors,
Yeti.
I mean, so there's a whole bunch of classic monsters that that we had because of Troughton's era. So if you want to bring fans in, then do that again. I mean, each Doctor has their kind of personality, but also stories that suit the range or are very reminiscent, and suit that Doctor. So can't you just lean into that with Troughton? Do the whole Monster of the Week thing.
Yeah. I mean, they did it with the first box set. They did Daleks and Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
And then this box set, they didn't.
No.
I like that you brought up the Ice Warriors because... So, I was going to actually skip this because I think we've talked about it before, and we can talk about this at any time. However, same Big Finish audio grip, the Wild Wild West, somebody initiated this discussion. Which monsters do you think have been overused by Big Finish? Now, I'm just going to, plot twist. Most of the people that responded are obviously, saying obviously Daleks, obviously, this. But the person who posted this said, for me, it's the Ice Warriors. And I actually 100% agree. Now, does that mean that the Ice Warriors have been appearing in the most? No, but to me personally, and somebody said a little bit later on, they have been appearing, but their stories are so forgettable. And to me, you can say the Daleks show up a lot, but again, especially when you're doing Time War stories, they almost have to be there. So you have to take that kind of out of the equation if we're not talking about the Time War. And since like the whole monthly adventure thing, basically it is Time War centric Dalek stories, and we really haven't had much of anything other than those stories. So I think you have to pull the Daleks out of that one. Cybermen, I really don't think that they've overdone it with the Cybermen. They have done that like not good, bad, American accent, good Canadian accent version of the Cybermen story. But I honestly think that the person who posted this question does have it right. And somebody who posted subsequently that the Ice Warriors are overused because they're not good stories and are kind of forgettable. And also the burnout of Nick Briggs voicing every single monster. I don't know. What say you guys?
I almost commented on this.
Oh, you did?
The other issue with the Ice Warriors is, yes, the stories are forgettable. Yes, they're overused. But the thing is, even though the Daleks are used a lot, they're more versatile than the Ice Warriors.
Yes, they are.
Even though they are, one-dimensional, a lot of the time, one-dimensional Nazi tanks with a emotion problem, they're still more versatile than the Ice Warriors. Because what do the Ice Warriors do? Either get woken up, get pissy, kill a bunch of people, and get defrosted like a bunch of fish fingers in in an air fryer. Or they're doing diplomatic missions for various reasons and just tend to be background characters and or end up dying in the end as well. And that's all they do. Like, there's nothing else to their civilization.
Until they eventually get defeated and they go, shut this for a lark. I want an easy life. I'm becoming a politician.
Well,
oh no, please don't. I can see it now. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. The next box set, an Ice Warrior gets fed up of actually being a warrior, so turns to politics.
well, I mean,
Well, they do. They are politicians.
They are. I mean, the Peloton
yeah, but
series,
that's what I mean. But that's the box set. It's basically going to be a disgruntled Ice Warrior turns to politics, and we see the rise of him going into politics. Oh,
Well,
Jesus.
I mean, and to me personally, the best thing that they could have done was in the Fourth Doctor box set with that Ice Time or Ice Heist or whatever, where you had a rogue group of Ice Warriors who already know that they've lost their honor. And so, like, all of the standards that the Ice Warriors generally have are out the window. And then at the very end of the story, they kill them. Like, I would have loved for that group to continue on and run into them, because there is, when the Doctor encounters the Ice Warriors, there's like, well, they are a warrior race, hence the name Ice Warriors, but also they do have this kind of standards. And I like the idea of them basically going, well, we think we're the last people and everything's free game now. I mean, and they just, again, why do we have to do what the MCU does and kill off all villains at the end of the story for the most part? Like, why can't this be a comic book type of a thing where they escape and we meet them later? Oh, I know why. Because everything is in a self-contained box set that it makes every single thing easy to pick up, any box set at any time, except minus like the Hebe story box set. But I mean, besides that, it's easy.
Yep. So I almost commented on this.
Yeah.
As a slightly less grumpy point. And I didn't comment in the end because I thought people would just have a go at me. And obviously the posing question was, what is the most overused monster of Doctor Who? And I almost replied with one word answer.
Nick Briggs.
No, one word.
Oh, well.
Well, Briggs.
Still. Briggs, yeah. Still.
Oh, you know what? You need to go back to that post and post that. Oh,
yeah.
Great minds think alike, eh?
In it.
I was waiting for you to say.
Do you remember the days when Alistair Locke used to be the voice of the Daleks?
Yeah. Or that one time that Nick Briggs couldn't do it because his wife was in labour and she was giving birth, when he came back to do Plague of the Daleks.
Yeah, who did that in Plague of the Daleks?
Alistair Locke, wasn't it?
Do you know what would have been funny?
Oh, it was, yeah.
Is if he was in such massive.
Do you know what I want to see?
Yeah.
Hang on. Go on. No, go on, Brett.
I think it would be so funny if he was such a control freak over the Daleks that his wife's in birth. They're like, okay, we're recording this right now. He's just like, just 1 second, sweetie. And then he starts doing like the Dalek voice. And then he yells into the Dalek, voice modulation, push, push, push.
You will birth this child.
It's a boy.
Do you know what I want to see? I want to see a story, right, where they it's a parody, but it's not. and it's basically a battle of like the Dalek drones. So you've got a bunch of Alistair Locke Daleks versus a bunch of Brig Daleks, and yeah, I want to see the story behind how the Daleks went from being Alistair Locke to Nick Briggs.
And then in the background, they've got some of them. Like, they've got some of the what's his name?
Peter Hawkins.
Yeah, they're like, why do some of us sound like Zippy?
Oh no, that's Roy Skelton.
Roy Skelton.
I don't like cat food.
They've just got poor Bungle coming in going, well, that's not very nice now, is it, Zippy?
That's George, isn't it? Bungle was the bear.
Oh, yeah, it's George, yeah. The giant pink teddy
hippo.
bear.
Hippo.
Oh, is that what it was, a hippo?
Yeah, George was a pink hippo and Bungle was the bear. Played by John Leeson in the first season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
He's
old John
80.
Leeson.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
He's just turned 80.
Hasn't aged, has he, at all?
No. I mean, physically, yeah, but vocally, no.
That's what that's what they need to do. They need to do I think it would be really interesting if Big Finish would do it, would be, John Leeson K9 at 80 or something like that, sit down interview like they did with Colin Baker and Tom Baker. So, I mean, I still think that they need to do one with both McCoy and Davison, but I mean...
Davison.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I mean, McGann's getting up now. I mean, they could do, Paul. Well, actually, I think that they might do, because it will be what 20 years of the Eighth Doctor. Oh no, it's past 20 years.
It's 22 years now.
But they might do, McGann at 30 or whatever. Like, for the 30th for McGann being Doctor Who for 30 years, maybe.
Yeah. So let's move from that to something that is absolutely hysterical. Big Finish getting destroyed on their Facebook post. Not Big Finish Listeners Group. Not Big Finish Audio Group. Big Finish Productions getting destroyed in their own Facebook post regarding Doctor Who Doomsday Dying Hour. So, I mean, I tipped Liam off to this. What did you think, Liam, because I was very vague, and then I tagged you in it. What were your thoughts about this?
Brutal, but hilarious.
Yeah.
Just some of the comments were just, gold. Pure gold.
Legion, did you see this at all?
Savage.
Yeah?
Yeah, I saw this. It was a proper, it's clearly one they've been told to market and market it well by the BBC, because BBC's like, hey guys, come on, Titan, Forbidden Planet, they're all jumping on board. You guys can jump on board, market this well. And every time they post something from it, everyone's like, you are a bunch of dicks.
Yeah, I mean, this did not go well. I mean, first off, the first comment was, love classic 8 and Charlie, but that's not enough to justify the expense. Then we have, it's madness. Big Finish thinks that they can charge more for this than the War Master, which, why? And then, again, it's just like, they're shamelessly using Paul McGann and India Fisher to get people to consider buying this that looks very dodgy I love this. This one was one of my favorite ones. Actually, I had lots of them, but this one was because it says it looks as dodgy as anything that they've released since A Minuet in Hell, which massive props for, bringing that one back to life. And then I kind of teased this earlier, and a couple people were, again, it just got destroyed. 30 pounds, would rather spend it on something else. Who is this for? Blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of tease this with you guys off air. So one person said that, and they got a comment, they got a feedback to this whole thing, which really impressed me regarding the whole thing. So they said, I'm not sure about this, but I'm kind of interested to see what the writers will do. At which point Lizzie Hopley came in and said, thank you. Like, she, somebody willingly didn't go out. I'm looking up the writers list. There's Jacqueline Renier, there's Robert Valentine, there's Simon Clark, and Lizzie Hopley. One of them, the writers, was looking for something positive to say because this thing was getting destroyed. So, yeah.
I have a lot of props for Lizzie Hopley. She's a woman who speaks her mind, but she has an answer for everything she says.
Yeah, that's commendable.
And she's a diehard Doctor Who fan.
She is, you can tell.
And the interview that Liam was on about earlier with Lizzie Hopley and the Australian chaps who, what's the name of their podcast? It's actually a good podcast. It's really good.
Is it Sirens of Audio?
Sirens of Audio. They interviewed her and they posed her the question of, why do you think certain Big Finish writers who should be writing for TV aren't writing for TV? And she basically replied with, well, because the TV producers and quite a large chunk of fans think that Big Finish is fan fiction and they won't give it the time of day.
And even her agent,
quite frankly,
and even her agent was, because she's like, oh, I want to do this. And her agent almost put her off, basically, no, don't do that. But she loves working for Big Finish. She loves writing for Big Finish. And she's like, Dawny has given me so many ideas, and she's like, oh, are you okay with this? And he's like, yeah, I can think of something else. So like, I like the fact that he's, happy to give out ideas to other writers to run with.
Dawny's like, well, she basically says Dawny should be writing for the TV.
For TV, yeah, he should be.
She was like, out of everyone, Dawny and Fitton should be writing for TV.
So should Jonathan Morris.
Because, but she was like, they won't, because fans see us writers as just glorified paid fan fiction writers.
That's a shame.
And she sounded really hurt then. And I get why. But she is a woman with a pure love of Doctor Who.
Well, is there anything else, or do we want to get on to the reviews?
Oh, I loved the back to the Doomsday thing quickly. I loved the comments about the art.
Oh yeah, like the best way to describe the art for both of you, because obviously you can't really see it. They kind of described it a little bit, but think about this. So young children have little bodies on gigantic heads, or with gigantic heads, I guess I should say.
Oh my God.
That's exactly
they Funko popped the artwork.
Yeah. That's exactly what it looks like.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
But I thought they didn't. But they didn't they do it the other way around? Didn't they give them big bodies and small heads?
No, it's big heads.
Kind of float.
Big heads, standard sized bodies that look like they're floating.
Weird.
Yeah.
So here's one thing I noticed from that. Big Finish themselves have been putting alt text on quite a lot of their artwork. So if you go over it with a screen reader, the screen reader will say, it's this artwork, such and such is happening in the picture, enjoy. They didn't do that with this.
Nope.
They're like, how do we describe that this is a abomination to art? And they're like, just leaving it blank.
They're just someone at Funko Europe is like, hey guys.
Oh my word, that's exactly what it is. It's Funko art without the smoothness. Oh yes.
I still love the David Blunkett comment though.
Yeah, the David Blunkett thing's beautiful.
All right. Well, I guess with that, we will move on to the review.
You have been listening to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Doctor Who is owned and trademarked by the BBC. Doctor Who Alhambra is not affiliated with the BBC or Big Finish. No infringement is intended. Visit our website at alhambrapodcast.weebly.com or email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet us at Alhambra Podcast. That is ALHAMBRA Podcast. Thank you.
Yep, we're all good. You still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Cool.
All right. Let's see. I was taking some screenshots of stuff. Oh my word. I am sorry. Before we get on, I'm saying this in the nicest way possible, but that guy on the such a douche. Oh my word.
You think?
Well, yeah. I mean, he responds to you, and it's just like, I know he's not a admin, but I think he's a wannabe admin. So, I don't know.
He seems to do a lot for the Torture stuff, or talk about Torchwood or whatever, or seems to be quite exclusive to that range kind of thing. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I mean, he jumps to get Big Finish's back, which I'm sorry, but
there's just no need. Like,
yeah.
That's just called lazy marketing. Like, well,
yeah,
it's not even marketing. It's just lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was no marketing involved. It was, this is coming out. Oh, it's out.
Yeah.
I'm like, if that's your strategy, pay us. We'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I don't mind. I will, here, Nick Briggs, turn your podcast over to us and we will lay it out. We won't do any reviews because we might have to actually give opinions, but we will market it and just be like, hey, this is coming out. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You can pick this up. Directed by so-and-so, starring so-and-so. And here is a clip of this. And voila.
Mm-hmm. Or even no clip for you because, well, it's going to come out tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, I know. They could have said something. There's like, they could have even marketed as there's a reason why.
Did you see my response to him?
Yes, I did. Yes. I got that on the screenshot
perfect
too.
Reason.
Uh-huh.
Perfect reason. Like, we had no idea it was a Murray Melvin release.
No, we don't.
We do now, but we had no idea beforehand.
Well,
yeah. I don't know. Did you want to do a number for this one, or are we just doing
I'm just gonna insert this into yesterday's podcast.
Okay, that's fine. Well, let's get on to the responses then, shall we? And
okay. All right, let's just let me just set this up just a little bit.
Sure.
All right. So, update. Okay. Let me just see. All right. Post-production update here. And generally I do this by my